it's Rebecca here from Precious Pages Papercraft, and today I'm designing a layout for Hip Kit Club. And I'm working with the gorgeous July 2022 kits, and they are entirely exclusive Hip Kit products, which I think are always the best. Everybody looks forward to exclusive products. And I'm playing along with this week's challenge, or I think our challenges now are fortnightly, but we have a Tic Tac Toe for you. Because I designed this challenge, I thought it was only right that I played along and had a bit of fun with you guys. So I'm going to use the top line of the board, and I'm going to go for hexagons, mixed media and chipboard. So I've used the Hip Kit Essentials metal nesting dies. We've got them in hexagons and circles, and they are like my favourite things ever. I think they're fantastic, and they've got stitch detail around the edges as well, which I think is really pretty. So I've used those dies and cut some hexagons from some of the pattern papers in the July main kit. I think I've used 4 in total. I actually tick off more than 3 things on the Tic Tac Toe board. I think I do 5 or 6 by the end, but traditionally you go in a line, so we won't count those. But yeah, I've cut some hexagons in pattern papers, and I've gone for smaller hexagons. I find that whenever I use hexagons, I tend to go for larger ones. And I've seen a few layouts on Pinterest lately with smaller hexagons, and thought I would have a play with those, because with the nesting dies, I think you get about 10 or 12, and they range from tiny all the way up to big. So I thought I'd play with some of the smaller ones, and I really love how this layout turns out in the end. So I'm just going to piece those hexagons across the centre of my layout horizontally, and I'm going to add my photo over to the right, slightly off centre, and I'm going to add some mixed media behind the area that my photo is going to sit, and sort of extend it out a bit. I'm using 2 of the colours from the July colour kit, and we've got in this kit it's 3 Magicals powders, which I absolutely adore, and there's also some die cut bits as well that you can colour with these. They colour amazingly. But I'm just using 2 of the powders from the kit for this layout, and I'm using the kind of pinky colour and the yellowy sort of bronzy colour, and I think they're called Teeny Weeny Bikini and Rambling Rose. And I've just mixed the 2 on some packaging. I wasn't sure how vivid or bright they were going to come out, because I know these Magicals are quite pigmented, and they were really bold and bright. So you only need a tiny little amount of this stuff, it goes a long way. So I started off with a kind of mix of the 2 to get a nice orangey colour to match the papers in the July kit, and then I came back in with just the yellow colour, the Teeny Weeny Bikini, just to add a bit of variation. And all I did was add the powder to the packaging, spritzed a bit of water on top to activate it, and it makes kind of like a watercolour paint then. And then I actually used some cling film or food wrap and just scrunched it up in my hand quite loosely, and then just dabbed that in the paint or the watered down powder and the colour, and then dabbed that straight onto my background. Kind of like the packaging technique, but it gives me a lot more control, and I really like the effect it gives. And it's so simple to do as well, and it's kind of mess free, which was quite handy on this day, because the day before I go on holiday and I've got lots going on, so I just felt like I needed to sit down and create something, but really didn't have the time to be doing it. So one of those. So I wanted to have some control and not get too messy, so that worked out really nicely. And as you can see, I've just concentrated that just to that area where my photo is going to sit. And I'm getting these hexagons stuck in place now. The ones in the centre that are going to have my photo on top, I'm sticking down flat, but the ones more towards the outside edge, I'm raising up on foam for a bit of dimension. And you'll see on my photo here, the 2 edges are white. So my photo, just the way it had been taken, it was quite a zoomed in photo. To use the sized hexagon that I wanted to use, the photo, it's going to be hard to explain this now because I can't even think straight. To be able to cut it, I couldn't zoom the photo in as much as I needed to, because then I would chop the hobby horse or my boy's head off, if that makes sense. I couldn't fit it all in such a large area zoomed in, so I had to zoom out a bit, which then made the edges obviously white, which isn't a problem because I'm going to strategically cover those up, so you'd never know. By the time I finished, there you go, there's one gone already. You'd never know that I had those white edges that my photo sort of didn't quite fit. But I've just got, so I've got my hexagons down, I've got my mixed media down, and I've now just put a chipboard title down, and it says Wild and Happy, and I thought that was really fitting for my photo of my little boy dressed as Woody, playing in the garden with a hobby horse that I brought it home from the school that I work at to glue its head back on ready for our sports day. and my little boy wanted to have a play on it, so I was like, oh, just very quickly in the garden then, and next thing you know he wanted his Woody costume on and his hat, and I just thought perfect opportunity to get some photos so I can use with this collection. So I was like, yeah, knock yourself out, kiddo, as you do. But yeah, so I've got my title on, that's my chipboard, so that's my 3 elements now, complete my line in the Tic Tac board. I'm also adding some florals. These are fussy cut from another of the patterned papers. Gorgeous colours, these florals. They work with all the papers and all the embellishments in this kit. In fact, everything just matches perfectly. Because they're all exclusive, they're all designed by Kim and Kimberly. They're so clever at what they do, and they match everything perfectly. So it all goes. I did sort of strategically pick the floral clusters. I tried to not pick any that had pink in it because I knew there wasn't really going to be anything else pink on the layout. So I sort of omitted the pink ones and arranged them around my photo. I've also added some of the puffy stickers, again exclusives, and some more chipboards. I've got a chipboard lasso, chipboard arrow. I've got some puffy sticker cowboy boots. What else have I got? The little horseshoe there. I love that. I think it's so cute. Horseshoes with little florals on. And then I've got some smaller little florals that were fussy cut from the paper as well. I've spread those around my hexagons just so the florals weren't all concentrated in one area, and it kind of ties the layout together nicely. I've also added some of the chipboard buttons as well. We get lots of buttons. We get stars and circles this month, and I think they're really cute as well. So I've added some of those in. I'm now going through my massive messy bag of embroidery thread, and I pick out, please don't judge me on the state of this bag. I really do need to sort it out, and I just, I'd rather be scrapbooking than tidying, so it just doesn't happen. So please ignore the mess. But I pick out a red thread, and I thought it would go nicely with my little boy's shirt in the photo. Has got a red kind of checkered squared pattern on it. So I thought the red would go nicely. And the larger button that I use has got 4 holes in it. So rather than do a crisscross, I thought I'd do a square with the stitching. And I do all the buttons. I think I've got 4 buttons in total on the page. I do all of them. And then I decide I don't really like the red. I just don't know why. I mean, red's not a colour I like anyway at the best of times. It's like my least favourite colour. But I thought it would work well with the red in my photo, but it just wasn't sitting right with me. So you'll see that I take the time to stitch them all on and get them stuck in place, and then at the end when you see the close-ups you'll notice that it's no longer red. I actually took the buttons back off, removed all the red stitching and replaced it with metallic gold stitching, and I'm much happier with that. The gold thread just looked so much nicer. And the red does go. It's not a colour that doesn't go with this collection. I think it's because it's red. I wasn't happy with it, and I didn't like the way I'd stitched that button in the square either. It was really bugging me. So when I did the gold, I've redone it in like a crisscross pattern as well. So I'm much happier with that once it's finished. But I will give you a close up in a minute of the finished product, and you'll see. Then when it gets to the close-ups that's changed to gold. And then I just finished the layout off really. I've got a couple of black and white elements I've brought in because he's got a black and white little like cow print waistcoat in the photo. So I've got a couple of hearts, I think 2 in total. They're from the puffy sticker sheet, and also an arrow just under my title there. And then I just finished the layout off using some of the magicals to add some splatters, and just using that teeny weeny bikini, the yellow colour. It's kind of like a golden yellow, and I just finished off with some splatters of that, and then that'll be me finished. So here we go, just skip through the rest of that stitching for you. As you can see, it's still red, that won't last long. And then, just as I mentioned, going to finish off with some splatters. My little boy chucking snacks on my desk, asking me to open them, bless him. But yeah, that's me done. So I hope you've enjoyed this layout, and thank you very much for joining me for it. I hope you enjoy the Tic Tac Toe challenge this month. Tried to keep it quite generic so that there's something on there for everybody. But if you do take part, do head on over to our Hip Kit Club group on Facebook. And upload your layout to the challenge thread. You don't have to use Hip Kit products if you don't want to, or if you don't subscribe, but please do take part. And if you win, I think it's a $25 gift card to the shop. So well worth taking part and having a go and having a bit of a fun with us. We love to see what you create. But thank you for joining me. I'll leave you with the rest of the close-ups, and I'll see you next time.